We are live. Finally, after some minor technical difficulties. Uh, Pardon
Yeah.
us. We take a month ish off and everything stops working.
Well, that the other platform that we were using just seems to be so problematic lately. Every time we've been doing this lately, we've been having lots of glitches, and I've been getting lots of barks here, so apologize for that.
Yeah, no. They probably have bugs in place to make you choose, to make you upgrade into their premium offering. I'm guessing some of that is the culprit. But also, I've been having issues with our Spectrum internet here in California. It's been spotty at best. It's been actually hurting me work wise, calls with clients and stuff. And all of a sudden, I have to switch to my phone because my phone is the only reliable internet. So that's kind of annoying. But other than that, it's been a minute, Roy. I mean, Roy's my work partner, Ron. Um, did I lose you? Yeah, there you
No,
are.
that was me. What I had was I logged in straight into the other link, so
Gotcha.
I had YouTube playing with this big delay in the background. Everything I
I've done
said to you a
that.
few minutes ago
I've
started
done that.
repeating. So
Now that you mentioned that, let me go to the YouTube, make sure that it is working.
so
Now that you mentioned that, let me go. It is
yeah.
working, and I just liked it. Anyone joining us for the first time, it is tricky. It's always tricky to do these um, mid, not mid, well, midday, especially on a weekend. But as you all know, we all live busy lives with for different reasons, and we hadn't done this in a while. So I told
Yeah.
Ron we got to put one in the books because we're trying
Well,
to inch closer to the 100th episode, and it's not happening if we don't do.
well, we're quarter inching towards
I
it
know,
rather than inching lately. But
centimeter.
but the fact that you were out of the country doing great things at with your family,
Yeah,
taking care of family there, with me running around doing stuff with family as well. Yeah, you never know. And with me running to some of these crazy signings with some of our crazy Tops Now friends, had a blast with that. But we'll get into that in a minute.
that's
Uh,
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I've been away uh, for work a couple of weeks,
we'll get into that.
and then me and the family took a trip to Lake Tahoe. That was a lot of fun. Um, they stayed at a little cabin there. It was really, really fun. The kids had a blast. As warm as it's ever going to be
Yeah.
in South Tahoe. But that's always, that never gets, I never get used to that. Let's put it that way. I'm used to Caribbean warm waters and the fact that I jump into a water that's below 50 or whatever it is. It's
What?
always
Yeah. Well, you got to
different.
remember that's coming off the snowpack up there. In the Caribbean, there's nothing coming off the snowpack.
Nothing. Nothing but more heat and humidity.
And
But no, it's been a minute. I would say, you know what's funny is that, and yes, we do come back to these internet and technical difficulties, which is challenging and annoying. But yeah, we are somewhat getting close to our 100th episode. Hopefully by next week when we do our 97th episode, I'll have more details on. I want to run some type of promotion or whatever that we can celebrate our 100th episode with giveaways and all sorts of stuff. But I was gonna say is that interesting because we've been away almost a month from recording this weekly episode, and I feel that a lot has happened, but nothing has happened.
well, you know what I have sitting in front of me, because I'm sitting out in the outdoor studio today, so I don't have my laptop with me. But I did print out the standings and the wild card standings, so I'd have them at hand here because baseball has gone crazy. It's absolutely nuts where we were a month ago to where we're back to now. This is unbelievable. Some of the things that have happened.
And to layer what you're saying on top of that is both the actual baseball world has gone crazy, which I think is what you mean,
Yep.
and the baseball hobby has also experienced its own craziness, and we'll touch base on that, and that's kind of what I meant with
Yeah.
especially on the baseball hobby wise. Like a lot has changed, but a lot hasn't changed. I feel like we're kind of in the same place, but there have been some movements on the margin that have changed dramatically the outlook, if you will, of the baseball hobby. Some of that has to do with the national happening this a few weeks ago. Some of that has to do with a lot more, um, I would say, higher disposable income money coming into the hobby, probably influenced by Fanatics leadership and sort of disrupting the premium. I would say the premium end of the hobby, and having things kind of go, you know, I don't know, crazy
Yeah.
and hyperbolic at the top end. But we'll talk about that. There's so many things I want to kind of touch base on. Hopefully, we don't, we'll spend here more than 40, 45 minutes, which is what we always try to cap it at. But let's talk baseball first, real baseball.
Let's talk real
And
baseball.
before
What
I
the
do that, Ron, give me a second. I want to give a couple of
Okay.
shout outs. I
Okay.
see some new names out here. Alex Esparza. Thanks for loving us, I guess. We are lovable. Eh, Big shout out to you, Megtron fan. I never know who are these are bots, but I always say the names disregard. It doesn't
Well,
matter. Um,
Megtron, I wonder if that is a Megatron fan,
um,
which is basically our former Detroit Lion
right?
wide receiver Megatron out
But if
there.
you are a real person, we love you back. Brutally honest, 319. I don't know
Hey,
if
we'll be brutally honest with you.
we
Baseball
promise.
is
We
crazy.
promise to
So,
be. Hello, hello to you, ma'am or sir. So yeah, Bron, kick us off with what's happening in baseball.
well, some of the wildest things that are happening is at one point the New York Yankees were leading the American League East. But what's happened there is the Blue Jays are just blowing up, and the Red Sox have started to find their footing again. But the Blue Jays leading that division wasn't something I had on my game card this year. I know that. I know that for a fact. I did not think that the Blue Jays would be there. It's still, you know, they're only 5 games ahead of the Red Sox now, so theoretically anything can happen, but we're down to, like, the last 30 some odd games of the year now. We're getting into that home stretch where it's gonna be hard to make up a 5-game deficit if you're the Red Sox. Uh, you look at the Detroit Tigers still leading over there. Okay, the Guardians really have fallen off, really fell off. We thought they were gonna be solid again after last year's performance. We're sitting with the Kansas City Royals in second place in that division right now. How did that happen? How did they jump that? Um, so nobody. Oh, you muted
Pardon me,
yourself.
I was muted. I would say I guess my comment to that is remember always regression to the mean.
Yeah,
Um, Things have a way of going back to what we thought were going to be the predicted outcomes, with a few changes, obviously here and there. But yeah, I mean, we all said Detroit and Kansas City were the teams to beat in that division.
yeah, we did. And then when you look, we have the Astros leading again, just over the Mariners by 2 games. So that's a tight race there.
Okay,
Um, and rounding out the American League, when you look at the wild card for the American League, you've got who are our leaders in the wild card? We've got the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Mariners right now. But Kansas City's only 3 games out of that race, and with the Yankees playing as poorly as they have been, they could lose that ground because they've only got a half game over the Mariners for where they're at in their
right,
place. So they're really 3.5 up on. There's nobody more than 4.5 games
right.
lead in the
But
American League.
but I think we could say that, and I think this is true to an extent also in the National League, that by this point, with 30-ish games to go, it looks like pretty much the field is somewhat set, right? Other than perhaps the Reds in the National League slipping in, or the Royals slipping in there. Like, I think it's safe to say that the teams that are locked right now are the teams that should be getting to the postseason. Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No, it's they're kind of the folks we expected to be playing. You talked about the Red Sox being solid this year earlier,
Yeah,
so the fact that they're leading the wild card right now is pretty big. When we look at the fact that the Yankees are in there, we expected the Yankees to be in there. We expect those two teams to be the top of the division. We didn't expect Toronto, so it could be a three
right.
AL East playoff situation, like
True,
we had last year with three National League West teams.
true,
So,
true.
so
I'll,
theoretically, it could be
yeah.
that. We'll see. We'll see.
I'll be honest though. Like, okay, so I still subscribe to my argument probably a month or 2 months ago that I don't see it. I don't see the AL winning um, the championship. I feel that the top tier teams in the National League are far superior than any of the American League teams. Detroit, for a second there, the way they were performing, and just based on on pitching talent and the way they were performing, really were, in my opinion, making a run at it.
Yeah.
But going top to bottom, sorry, going east to west, I told you from the get go. So Toronto has been a surprise, but outside of Toronto, Boston I thought would be in there, and the Yankees always have enough to kind of be in
Yeah.
there. But the way they're playing, they keep having the same issues they were having last year. They're very fundamentally not solid. They don't play defense. They commit so many mistakes, so many errors. There's so much reliance in that franchise on analytics. It's all about individual performance, roster composition wise. I don't think they're built to win as a roster.
Yeah.
There's a lot of injuries. So again, my point there is that Toronto's a wild card. Obviously, they're playing great, and then Detroit and Kansas City should be good to go, and then
Well,
Houston, which you
Kansas City.
predicted.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a Rangers or Mariners division, and but it looks like Houston has found a way, like they always do. I think the trades that they made have contributed. Correa back with Houston is a
Yeah.
big lift. They've had some people. The pitching has been incredible. That really surprised me. How well they've pitched and how consistent that pitching staff has been. But other than that, do you see any of those six teams really
Well,
competing for a
there's
championship?
if we went into the playoffs today, the two things that are going to make that divisional champion is the fact that both the Tigers and the Blue Jays would have first round buys, so they would be in that second stage, which would save their pitching and
Right,
possibly make them a lot stronger going in. The fact that you're going to burn Yankees pitching, which they haven't been strong with, where they're at right now, having them start out in one of those lower wild card rounds is going to be tough for them.
right,
So,
right. Um, should I tackle National League? Okay, so National League. Uh, it's been so we always. I personally always thought that it was the Phillies and Mets. Uh, Braves have been a surprise. Same level of surprise as the Blue Jays has been the Braves. But I'll say this.
wait. You mean Brewers?
Well, no, I'm going east to west. We'll get to the Brewers. The
Okay.
Braves sucking. I mean, to
Yeah.
be honest,
Okay.
everyone's injured, so I understand this is kind of an off. It's really tough when your stars are injured, when you lose all your pitching staff. Uh, so I get that. I honestly, the Mets for a long time were fulfilling my prophecy that they were going to be the team to beat, and that the Phillies will see the start of a decline with the team that they've built.
Yep.
The Mets, and they were going there. They just had a horrible August, and it
Well, I remember you talking down the Phillies, and we were kind of in agreement that they didn't have all the stuff
yeah,
they needed to get
yeah.
there. But
They've made some
what?
changes, some
Yeah,
huge changes.
and the Mets have not pitched well enough to win right now.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Here, and I have this conversation as a Mets fan. I have groups that I chat with, close friends that I chat with, and my whole thing is that the team that team is built to win if you have respectable pitching, and I think they put all their chips on pitchers that were marginally better than average, and that have been pitching a lot for consecutive years, and some of them are quite honestly recovering from TJ.
Yeah,
And so the fact that you relied so much on Sean Minaya, uh, free agent signing of Frankie Montas, which was horrible for the amount of money they gave him, and coming back from injury.
yeah,
Um, so all these, and then you for the this is the first full year as a starter that you stretched him out. The Yankee pitcher, what's his name? The tall dude who was stretched out to be a starting pitcher. Um, forget what his name is, but he's this is his first year as a starter. Used to be a long reliever. He's good, but he doesn't last you more than 4 or 5 innings.
yeah.
And so what's
You're in
happening
your
over the course
bullpen
of a year?
constantly.
What happens during the course of a year is that by this time, those pitchers that were marginally 5 to 6 inning pitchers, they will break down. And so I think the Mets management erred in not promoting their top pitching prospect earlier. They made a calculated decision, I guess, that to just wait until September for September call-ups. I thought it cost them because they lost like 18 games this month between, and so there goes the division lead, and you've got right now two pitchers that you can count on. Senga, which is by the way a sixth rotation guy, doesn't give you more than 5 innings consistently. For a guy that you have to give him an extra day off every week to perform. And then you got David Peterson. That's all you got
Yeah,
reliable. So I've been telling people these dudes have to. So the Mets have three outstanding starting pitching prospects. One they finally called up, and has pitched two gems. What's his name? McNeil or Neil something. They've got Sprout, which is an amazing prospect, and they got Tung, uh, the Asian dude. They blow up hitters. They got like 180 Ks during in the season. They are difference makers, and the fact that they haven't called all of them up it's very surprising to me. I think if they do that, this is my prediction. If they call up all of them and say, "Fuck it, we're calling up all our guys," we have a shot. Because offense wise, I mean, I watch enough Mets games. You probably watch a few here and there.
yeah.
Offense wise, like we can put up numbers. Um, but if you go up 6-0 and then you can't hold a 6-0 lead, then we've got issues.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing I was going to say. They built that team around the home run. They built that team around the fact that they were going to have some offense so they could slack off a little in the pitching, but they slacked off a little too much.
Too much.
So
So we'll see.
seeing
But
the Phillies winning it is a bit surprising, but hey, they're playing solid. They're getting great pitching. They're getting really great pitching,
yeah,
and they're getting stupid home runs. Absolutely
I just think
stupid.
the Phillies are my thesis was and still is that it's the beginning of the decline,
Yeah,
and I think that still holds true. Um, Harper is getting older, still young, still relatively young. Schwarber, how long can he do this for? And then all the other players have been okay, but you're not a team that's getting younger. You can't figure out additions on the offense side. No one that you bring
yeah.
in really contributes that much. Team's getting older now. Obviously, they went and got the best closer out there. So obviously, you're gonna, yeah, do better. I just
But
feel
yeah.
macro. They're the beginning. They're not as dominant,
Well, the only thing that Schwarber delivers to you in your lineup is a home run or a strikeout,
and that's fine. I mean, that's the
it's either
game,
one or
right?
the
I
other.
mean,
Boom or bust. He's batting what, 220, I think. I don't remember what his
right.
average is right now, but
But
it's
going
been
down the
abysmal. But
list,
it's
man, the
huge hit every
Brewers.
time. Yeah.
Brewers are wow. Like they've been playing so great. Like above and beyond, like how well above everyone else, and even Dodgers, Padres. They are playing a team ball, and the funny thing of doing it is like it's almost like the Giants were doing it a few years ago with no real
No
huge
real
names,
stars.
just people
E-
balling.
everybody's contributing in Milwaukee right now, and
Right.
that's the thing that's really making it different. You can't pitch around one guy because the other guy's going to step up and make up for it right now because they're hitting, you know, all through their order. They're providing offense. Uh,
The only thing,
Cubs,
Ron, is they have pretty much the same team as last year. I don't think they've invested. Did they acquire
they
any
didn't. They
significant starting
didn't.
pitcher?
No, they didn't invest in much. They brought up the kid from the minors, Mizrowski, and
Okay.
he's delivered some things, but I think he's kind of hurt right now, if I remember right. Our friend Sam is back there at the game today, and in town for a signing with Mizrowski tomorrow. So little inside information. He's sitting at the game right now, watching them play the Giants. So you tie
Fantastic.
those two teams together
Fantastic. Are they
right now,
playing in
but
They're playing in Milwaukee, right?
yeah, they're playing in
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Now
Yeah.
now the interesting things about that division is the Cubs are right behind them. They've got a few game separation, like I think they're 6 or 7 right now. 7 behind right now. They're there, but the problem is there's nobody else in that division. The Reds have fallen all the way off the radar. They're 14 back in the third spot. And you look at the fact that the Pirates are now 26 back and haven't done anything. Although they
Right.
did bring up Bubba Chandler to be a middle innings reliever. He came up and smoked 4 innings for him yesterday.
Okay.
A 4 inning save.
Wow.
So
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, all in all, my only concern with these teams that have those type of seasons is, can you take it to the postseason?
yeah,
Or will you experience some type of lag and then you get a first round bye, like it happened last year? Not to them, but like it's
yeah,
happened to other teams before where they're playing fantastic ball, but then all of a sudden 4 days off, 5 days off, someone else gets hot.
yeah.
Um,
Well, we were talking last time, or probably previous to that, about how we were surprised how well the Giants have been doing. Since then, they picked up Devers and have tanked.
yeah,
He
and the
he
Padres
brought
picked it
that
up.
club. The Devers trade, absolutely, from that point on, they have just been in steady decline. I don't know if it's something in the clubhouse or what, but they are not the team they were in the first half at all. The Diamondbacks have actually passed them for third place in the division now, and we have a slugfest at the top right now happening this weekend. Obviously, Padres, with our Padres and our Dodgers both tied. They're tied at the top of it right now. So it makes the wild card race a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
So right now at the top of the wild card are the Cubs. The Cubs are the number one wild card team, followed by the Dodger Padre, whoever, one of the two of them, and then your Mets. So
We'll see,
it's could
man.
be anybody's game because they're only a game and a half up in front of
No, listen,
Cincinnati.
I think, I mean, uh,
Well,
it's
let me say this.
a momentum game,
Yeah,
game, right? So
yeah,
whoever, it doesn't matter how well. I mean, the way that it's structured, it doesn't really matter how well you play during the season. Is how hot you get and how good you are. I mean, obviously, talent and record gets you somewhere,
yeah,
uh, but at the end of the day, like the Dodgers have been, yin yang all year
yep.
long, getting off of just based on talent. But like, if they get hot in September and October, then they can run away with it, right?
Well, one of
Same
the
with the
things that,
Padres.
yeah, one of the things the Padres did at before the trade deadline was they stocked up on a bunch of pitching, and they traded some of their brighter stars for O'Hearn and Laureano from Baltimore. I thought, what are these guys doing? But they've really added something, and the fact that once you hit the sixth inning, if you can get to the sixth inning,
Yeah,
you are toast.
yeah.
They've got baller after baller out of there.
You did
Jason
give up a
Adam.
humongous prospect for them. I
Oh,
was so
that
surprised.
killed me. But when we're
But
talking about the wild card thing, one more thing on that. The fact that the Reds are 14 games out in their division, but they're a game and a half behind the
Mets,
Mets in the wild card is just insane to me. How
we'll
does
see.
how is that happening? So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
we've got a lot of that
it's a
coming on.
top heavy league.
Yeah.
Just like Um, I think the
Very
AL is a
different.
little more balanced, but it's a top heavy league. But the top is so much stronger than the AL, in my opinion. I really don't see a scenario where the AL wins the chip. Anyways,
Well,
let's transition. It's been minute 25.
hobby.
Let's transition a little bit into the hobby. I got a call here in 15 minutes. I just realized with a colleague, David, that's actually probably watching. Hello, David. We're on a call here very soon. Um, but I also want to give a shout out to Michael, who I think he's mentioned he's watching through his PlayStation, so he can't comment. So shout out to you, Michael Braden. Ron, he wants to connect with you offline, I imagine, for some advice on display cases and
Yeah.
whatnot. So we'll make that happen, Michael. Um, hobby,
Penzoni. That's all I need to say. Penzoni display cases.
awesome.
Absolutely rock.
And by the way, we have some new members that will probably watch this later. Peter, he is absolutely uh, blown away by your Garvey memorabilia collection. I think you blew him off the water
Well,
with
I blew up your phone with the photos the other day,
yeah,
so
because he has an impressive set too. But when he saw the pictures that you sent me, he was blown away. So he'll probably catch this not live, but if you're here live, welcome and thank you, Peter, for joining our PCB group. Uh, we hobby wise, okay. So
oh,
internally, we have been away, as you know, as we've talked about. But I try to do some hobby relevant events. I've tried in lieu of a prospect chase box, which we took a month off this past month because I was going to be away and it was going to be difficult. So I just did like a couple of like different events, rip and ship events, honoring some of the most relevant stuff for us, which is on the one end, we're big fans in this channel of Top Scrum Platinum Anniversary (TCPA), and with the supposedly alleged release of 2025 4 5 release for that for that product coming up sometime in September or something. Then we figured to do a ship event of a 22 TCPA box, which is one of our old favorites. That was a really fun rip and ship. We actually pulled
yeah.
like five numbered cards. They were all Hall of Famers color cards, so that was pretty awesome. No Bobby Witt or Julio, and no autos, but Hall of Fame number cards are always fun. We did pull a Bobby base, and he went to the best person ever. Went to Todd, who's a big Bobby Witt guy, same as me. And then we also did a 25 Tops Chrome um, a rip and ship, or was that a break? No, a break. And we actually got some good. I mean, we our box broke the mold for a hobby box. It actually produced some good color, and it was rookie stuff and a lot of parallels. And the auto was a good player, decent player, I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't even remember who it was. I think it went to Tyrone. By the way, Tyrone, I don't know if you're watching this live or will watch it later. Tyrone bought the remnants, the remaining of our prior PCB Platinum box hobby packs, loose hobby packs that I had of 2019 Bowman Chrome. Tyrone, let me know if you pulled anything out of that. I'm guessing there could have been a color or auto there. If you're watching this, let us know. We're hoping that someone would land the Cal Rally first
Yeah.
Bowman Chrome auto. Hopefully you did. I know that we pulled live. Was it for you? Who did we pull? There was one auto. There were Elvis Martinez that
That
was
was
pulled live. Maybe for I forget who it was for. By the way, I still owe some people those cards. I got to get on that. And then but that was just me. And then we're gonna do some more stuff. I'm trying to accumulate some inventory here soon so that we can do stuff like this. Hopefully, we can get a box together for next month. It'll depend on these new releases. But and also like again, and this is sort of a segue to some of our hobby topics. The hobby has gotten so expensive. It's gotten so expensive. Acquiring inventory has been a nightmare.
Yeah, it's not just acquiring the inventory has been a nightmare. It's not just the price; it's also the availability of a lot of the one-off product. Everything is seems to be going equal these days, and nobody's hitting equal in our group. I had this streak at the beginning of last year and the year before when
It's
they
funny you
first started
say
doing
it that way
equal.
because I always pronounce it differently. But I think you being funny. I would hope
Oh,
the
what equal?
EQL.
EQL is it's short for it stands for equal.
Yeah, equal access.
EQ,
Yeah, it is.
yes, yeah. But I had this streak where I hit like 6 out of 7 at beginning
I
of last
know.
year
You
into the
started
previous
hot.
year, and then it's been 17 straight shutouts. I
17, really that high?
I'm up to 17 now.
That's crazy. No, so eh, okay. How do I? So a couple of things, hobby trends wise. So, and I predicted this a long time ago. And Fanatics took over, and the whole tagline of 10xing the hobby. I've always felt that they were going to go 10xing their pockets. That was the real, tagline or message behind this. Is how we restructure this to 10x our pockets. Obviously, by closing, not worrying about the collector investor loop, but just focusing on churning out new people into the hobby and burning them out. Uh, Bringing them into the hobby, burning them out, and then some will stay, but some will go. That doesn't matter because more will come. Um, and sort of bringing in new industry, if you will, participants on both spectrums. The new ones at the low breaker premium, low entry, and at the premium. So more
Well,
athletes, more celebrities, more exposure, more people buying really high end stuff, and new people buying the fractional stuff.
yeah,
And that's the
fractional
loop.
ownership is something we've talked about, and that's basically what breaking is. You're buying a fraction of a box, and what they've done with the product now, they say, okay, hey, we're putting this out to you guys via Equal or through a pre-order or what have you. But in the background, they might have 100 boxes, but only 50% of that is even going towards that. The other 50%, or maybe the other 80%,
Yeah.
is going to the community where they're doing the
There's
breaks.
no required legislated regulated transparency. You don't know how
Yep.
what they front.
Is it 50
Yeah,
or
yeah.
is it 80? And we
You
don't
don't
know.
know. You don't
We
know,
just
and
know that with tops, the retail is number one. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry, number
yeah.
one.
It's listen, it's market manipulation,
Yeah.
and again, I'm. It's hard for me. There's a significant amount of cognitive dissonance happening all the time in my brain when it comes to the hobby because I am the most, pro market, free market individual. Uh, but it's tough to not care about the hobby that you like, and so what I mean by that is if I'm Tops, if I own Tops, I probably do the same thing. If I have a monopoly on the market, um, I probably do the same thing. All other things kept equal, all things considered, I probably do the same thing. Now, it's more of a philosophical question that is there some type of because of what the industry is and who the industry participants are. Do you have some responsibility to be a gatekeeper and to not necessarily 1,000% maximize your profits, but maybe like 900%, and then do things that keep the hobby attainable and working for everyone. Not just about customer acquisition, churning, burning through new product, and then who ends up holding the bag? Because someone holds the bag at some point.
Yep.
It could be a 5 year thing. It could be a 1 year thing. It could be a 10 year thing. At some point, someone's going to hold the bag, and that's going to hurt the hobby. Eh, I don't know.
Well,
I
I,
feel uneasy about it because it
I'm going to give you a take that will confirm what you're thinking right now. Uh, there's been a change at local shows across the country where the amount of the card hobby that's there that is related to the Topps baseball product that we so love, and other sports related is diving down, and Pokemon is taking 60% or more of these show tables. It's a huge thing. And I know you have to go in a few minutes, but
No,
that's
it's all
a
good.
big indicator of what's happening in the hobby. The people are moving away from the fanatics. These people are going, oh, well, Pokemon never tears his ACL. It's not that. It's that, hey, here's cards that are available to people. I mean, they're still struggling to fight them, but they're available to people to get. Uh, uh, the makers of Pokemon have made it available through Trading Center or other things, avenues, and the shows are being taken over with Pokemon cards. If you can believe it or not, I'm hearing that from multiple sources across the
So,
country.
and by the way, I'm saying all these things which are completely against any self-serving statement. I mean, it's the opposite of self-serving because what's happened is actually in the benefit of people that do that engage with the hobby the way that
Yeah,
I engage with the hobby. I'm not a collector, other than Juan Soto and Bobby Witt, and I have my reasons for it that I collect. Somewhat collect. I wouldn't call myself a huge collector because I don't. If I own four cards of theirs, high premium cards, it's a lot. But there are players that I enjoy. Outside of that, my engagement with the hobby really is more about facilitating discussion, facilitating product, uh,
helping
providing
product get
platforms.
to people in different various
Yeah,
ways. The
providing
the
platforms for
whole
people to
prospect chase
access.
back box is based on that, Jorge.
Yeah,
It's here's a spread of product for you guys that you haven't been able to get your hands on in the last couple of years. I've conglomerated, meaning if I was Jorge saying that, into a pack for you where you can get some various things and not have
yeah.
to buy just this one box of this
The
and one
problem
box of
with
that.
that, Ron. The problem with that, Ron, is again to finish my thought real quick. I'm just a facilitator of product for margin, obviously. I do have a serious job, my 9 to 5, more like my 9 to 10. But I do this on the side, not at the scale that some people do it for serious money. I sometimes wondered if I should switch. There's so much money circulating in the space that I kind of compete in. Not really compete, but if I wanted to compete, it would be a very lucrative
It
space.
would also take full time.
It would take full time responsibility,
Yeah,
correct? But what I'm saying is that's just kind of like my angle on it. So I and this benefits me because if people can't access a product, it's in theory it's both well for me as a provider of fractionalized ownership, so to speak, or participation at a lower price point. The problem is, and that is the case. The problem is that that's only true at the level that I do it. Because if I were to put serious money into acquiring audience, right, and that's another discussion that I'm actively thinking about. Then the equation changes. But for me, that I have a group of like 30, 40 people that regularly participate and buy stuff, and the problem is that it's because my ability to service that crowd has been impacted, has been affected because in order for me to acquire new, like the price has gone up. So like
yeah.
people, it's not the same thing to ask people to put 25, $30 into something than to maybe get a chance at something or to tell them, hey, buy a box, right? At 100 to get X number of packs. I've been doing that before, and the packs, the quality of the product releases included was really, really, really high. But now I can't because if I were to do that, the price would have to go up, and then
Yeah.
the offering per box would be less. And so I feel that Tops has impact by skyrocketing the price of hobby product. Tops has somewhat, affected our ability to fractionalize, if that makes
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
or to do these type of community engaging product. Because they're pricing it at that point because only the breakers that can acquire things at scale, because they sell the crazy volume, they can purchase those high prices because they're making the money on the back end quite well. Um, I mean, but people like us, then it's really like who wants to buy a 500 hobby box?
Oh,
Um,
and the other thing that changed that kills it is some small changes that people didn't talk about or notice, but the changes of things like the Chrome Hobby Box from 24 to 20 packs.
Right.
Subtle little change. Nobody really knows. Hey, I got a Chrome Hobby Box. You're comparing box to box, but you're not seeing the fact that they
Right.
decrease the number of cards on you there significantly. And it breaks the ability to split that box into 2 packs each to 12 different boxes or 24 different
So
boxes
yeah.
single.
So in short, it has impacted my ability to include a product that has uh, X number of packs, and it has, if I have to make this type of executive decision, which I will be making soon, is that if people still want to engage with this product and they want the level, the top
Yeah.
brand stuff, they're gonna have to expect less number of packs and be okay with it because they have a chance to see taste the product without spending $500-600 on in it.
Yeah. Well,
And if that's the case, then so be it.
yeah.
That
Well,
will continue. Yeah.
I also took a dive this weekend into some alternate product. I purchased a couple of the Pulse boxes this weekend. They had for 124 bucks, 4 prospect autos, but it's not, it doesn't have Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
The Players Association isn't associated with it, so you won't have any logos, etc. But I'm going to see how it was. It was only $124. I figured that's a cheap buy-in to take a look at a product and see what it's like.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know.
the price per in a product, the price per auto has gone up from the usual. It used to be like $100,
Yep.
$125. Now the price per auto is somewhat for and for this is sometimes it's sticker, which is the crazy part. Sticker auto, the price per auto has gone up to like 150 to almost 200 sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's just kind of nuts because it's not like you're getting like you can be getting a pitcher that's pitched 3 innings in Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you pay $200 for it. So,
yeah.
but we'll see. We'll keep playing with that formula and see what people are willing to pay for this type of product. Um, it has created some other things that have positive and negatives for liquidity in the hobby. Obviously, the amount of product that's being ripped increases the singles market, and it's a self-fulfilling kind of cycle because uh, the emergence of repackers that are also providing this sort of experience of fractionalized buying, lottery, if you will. Uh, they need inventory, so they're buying up product at 95%, 100% comps at shows. So dealers, again, this is all very, very thought out by Tops, by
Yeah.
Fanatics, and so it's a self whatever cycle, right? Self feeding is more the word. Self feeding cycle where product gets ripped, product gets sold, product gets repacked, start the chain again, and then you put more marketing money into it, so more people will experience that. 50% will get burned. Other people will stay and gravitate towards, grow towards knowing how to buy stuff and premium and singles and then vintage or whatever. 50% will leave the hobby, but then more people are always coming in.
Yeah.
So that's the business model, and I just hope that they weren't hogs. Sorry, they weren't. What's the phrase? Pigs get fed and
Truff. Yeah. I don't.
hogs get fed and pigs get slaughtered. Whatever.
Slaughter.
I just hope they weren't so they didn't want everything for themselves. Like you leave a little bit for the common hobbyist to engage in. So that's the only thing. The prices have gone ridiculously up. In the next video, we can talk about how premium product is going through the moon, going ballistic. A lot of new money going in, and this is like real money. This is not COVID fake money
Nope.
that's coming into the market. These are people with this is people with money that are seeing some of the premium of the premium cards as an alternative source of investment, if you will, and buying up and driving the value of the super premium cards to crazy levels.
Yeah. Stuff like
Um,
those dynasty boxes, just
Right.
unbelievable.
Which is, I mean, it's a good thing. Uh, you need to know what to buy and who to buy, what product to invest in, and whatnot.
But if
So
you're like us, we go back in and swoop up the singles on the back end after they break it and
right.
got somebody they didn't like. So
But
we
anyways,
have
we're
that.
at minute 45. We still have a bunch of hobby talk to get
Yep.
through, so we'll
I've
get on
got
it. And then in our next episode, we promise to do even a deeper dive because we've got product releases we haven't talked about. You kind of like hinted at it, right? But there's so
yeah.
many EQL or equal whatever releases that baseball and otherwise, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about that's another discussion we want to maybe talk about next week about the non-sports things that's going crazy, the Marvel, the Disney, the all the stuff.
And Disney
um
stuff's coming up this week again. Marvel was last week. We couldn't even touch that stuff. We couldn't get near it.
and the fact that this sort of like new market trends have forced us to become a different type of
We're
hobby
looking at stuff we
participants.
haven't before. We've been baseball, but there's all this other stuff happening that has a different market. I mean, these are markets tied to movies and stuff that have
Right.
come out. It's been
And
crazy.
how it has impacted our ability to engage with the hobby, because if these other types of products, business models, ways to make money in the hobby uh, come in, we have to engage with it because that's how we acquire liquidity to go after the stuff we like.
Yep.
So the fact that Tops is giving us all these new avenues, making it harder, obviously, again, not easy to get into them, but we've been kind of forced to. I know I have. You probably have too, Ron. And
Yep.
we'll leave it with this. We've had to kind of like adapt how we spend hobby money
Well,
uh, to fund the hobby that
yeah.
we want, right?
Well, before we wrap up, I want to share with you one thing. One of the things the Padres have done this year that are taking some of my hobby money away from just purchasing cards is they've come out with a thing where before you go to the games, you can request a ball from that game.
Hmm.
So if you were to have gone to like the New York Mets versus the Padres game and put in a request for it early, they sell balls back online. This is one they date it. It's authenticated, MLB authenticated. This one happens to be um, Clay Holmes pitching to Jackson Merrill. It was pitches 1, 2, 3 to him, which was a ball, a swinging strike, and a foul. You know, they come and it's
Hey, it
notated and
touched
everything else.
Jackson Merrill's bat.
It's an interesting thing to pull from a game that's an actual piece of game use
Right,
memorabilia you can get for less than half of a hobby box.
right.
It was fairly cheap in the comparison. I'd gotten that one. That was the game I was hoping you were going to be going to with
I
me,
know.
but
We'll
we'll
make it
work on
happen.
one of those
We
for
may
when
see
you do get
ourselves
out
in
here.
Miami next month. We
Yeah,
need to talk offline about that. But anyway,
yeah,
guys, minute 48. Want to leave it here. Thanks for watching those that could make it. Those of you that will watch it recorded, please engage, comment, like, share, and subscribe if you have not.
yep.
Ron, thanks for saving some time for me on this Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to more great baseball coming up. Keep your eyes tuned, ears peeled, and we'll see what's going on. Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you. We'll catch you guys later. For Ron, this is Jorge Prospector out.
Out.